Brookland News Live starts right now with breaking news.
Alrighty, good day, good to be with you. We're coming on the air a little bit earlier right now because Mike Johnson is speaking right now on this new plan that House GOP is trying to put forward. Let's just listen in here and I'll explain later.
We are going to deport dangerous criminal illegal aliens because it is a basic function of the government. The Democrats fundamentally disagree. The Senate Democrats have hoisted upon this appropriations process their radical, crazy agenda. We call it crazy because that's what it is. They want to reopen the borders, and they want to stop the deportation of dangerous criminal illegal aliens. We have to do these basic functions of government. We have to fund them in order to do them. In the last several days, we have recent examples of dangerous criminals in this country killing innocent Americans. We had an 18-year-old college student in Chicago, a young lady who was shot in the back by a dangerous criminal who had been released in that sanctuary city and first released at the border under Joe Biden. They opened the border wide for 4 years. Just yesterday, or in the last 36 hours or so, an 83-year-old man's pushed onto the subway tracks and run over by a dangerous criminal illegal alien. This has to stop. The Republicans are not going to be a party to this. They have taken hostage the funding processes of government so that they can impose their radical agenda on the American people, and we can't have any part of it. This gambit that was done last night is a joke. I'm quite convinced that it can't be that every Senate Republican read the language of this bill, and I'm going to just read you one excerpt of it because it's pretty alarming, and it says everything that you need to know in Section 4. This is on page 2 of the bill. This is an actual copy of the bill. That excerpt. It says, quote, "The contents printed under the headings of this bill, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Border Security Operations, under the heading of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and Protection, shall have no force or effect for purposes of this Act, and amounts specified in the final bill under the subheading Border Security Operations and under the heading U.S. Customs and Border Protection and under the headings of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the Department of Homeland Security shall be zero." We're not doing that. And it is unconscionable to me that the Democrats would force some sort of negotiation at 3 o'clock in the morning and try to hoist this upon the American people and then get on their jets and go home for their holiday and pretend and think that we're going to go along with that. So we're going to do something different. We're going to do the responsible thing. Republicans are going to continue to govern and do the right thing morally, legally, and politically. We are going to take care of those who take care of us. The employees in the Department of Homeland Security have gone without funding and without paychecks for 42 days. It's the second longest shutdown in U.S. history, bested only by the longest shutdown in U.S. history that these same radical Democrats hoisted upon the government in the fall of last year. 42 days they've gone without pay. We've had, by some estimates, close to 500 TSA agents who have resigned from their jobs, and who could blame them? They've gone half the fiscal year without a regular paycheck. We can't ask that of anyone. And the lines around the airlines and at the airports have been wrapped around the buildings because of all this turmoil. We are very grateful to have a strong commander-in-chief in the White House who has taken real leadership. President Trump has already ordered by executive order that TSA agents will be paid, and that machinery is in process right now. The Office of Management and Budget is working through that to make sure that that happens, and we will reduce the lines and the waits at the airlines, and we'll make sure that those who are protecting us are paid. But what we are going to present and what we're going to vote on this floor, our Rules Committee is working through this right now. We're going to put a clean, simple, continuing resolution that will go until May 22nd. It's just a number of weeks to allow for all those who sacrificially serve the country and protect other Americans. All these agencies, 10 agencies under the Department of Homeland Security, will continue at their current funding levels to make sure that they are protected. We're going to send that over to the Senate, and we hope that they'll accept that. They can do it in record time just like that with the unanimous consent. They could do that as early as Monday. In the meantime, TSA will be paid. We will have done our jobs, and we will protect the homeland, because that is the most basic responsibility of the Congress, is to protect the American people. We're not playing political games on this. We encourage some of our Democrats, hopefully we'll have some of our Democrats in the House who go along with this and stop the pain that's being forced upon these people. The reason that we can't accept This ridiculousness, okay, is because we're not going to risk not funding the agencies that keep the American people safe. The Department of Homeland Security is the third largest department in the federal government. It has 10 agencies beneath it. It's not just TSA, it's also FEMA, the Coast Guard, all these agencies that keep us safe. We must fund them. This is not a game. Republicans will do the responsible and honorable thing, and Democrats will continue to play politics.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. You and John Thune are not on the same page. You came out and criticized Democrats. He was the engineer behind this. Why are you guys not on the same page? And are you not extending the shutdown? If you were to accept what the Senate had passed, this could end tonight and the TSA lines would shrink.
I wouldn't call John Thune the engineer of this. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate have forced this upon the Senate. I have to protect the House. Let me answer the question, Chad. I have to protect the House, and I have to protect the American people. That's our responsibility. Our colleagues on this side understand this is not a game. We are not playing their games. These people want open borders, and they want criminal, illegal aliens in the country. They do not want to enforce the law. They want to literally defund. You just read it in the bill here. They want to give $0 to enforcing federal immigration laws and keeping the border secure. That was the biggest issue in the election of 2024, the wide open border that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris hoisted upon the country. And 20 million, by some estimates, 20 million dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens included in that number came over the border. We have terrorists in our country. We have obviously murderers. They're putting it on display. And then these big blue cities that have sanctuary city policies, they're releasing these people onto the streets. They released them over the border when they came over under the Biden years. And that is the turmoil that we're facing right now, the very serious threats to the homeland and everybody. It's not just long lines at the airport, it is the danger and safety of everyone. We'll talk more after this is passed. We'll get it done.
Has the president endorsed this plan? Has the president endorsed this plan, Mr. Speaker? Has the president endorsed
I spoke to the president a few moments ago. He understands exactly what we're doing and why, and he supports it. Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Thank you.
the American people are just sick and tired of every one of you, both Republicans and Democrats, come to this podium and blame the other side. People have been standing in lines 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. There's TSA workers that are selling their plasma.
Yeah.
At what point is a leader on either side going to stand up and say, we have a path forward that everyone will agree to? This vote today will extend the shutdown under any circumstance.
No, it won't. No, it won't.
And it was
Thank you. Let me answer the question. I'm glad you brought it up. The House Republicans have now voted that today will be the 4th time to fund the Homeland Security. This is not party blame game. This is a record. You can hold up the record. Look at the Democrats. They're voting over and over. Yesterday afternoon, we gave them a chance to fund Homeland Security. You know how many House Democrats voted yes? 4 of them. They want to use people as pawns. People are not pawns. These are workers who are sacrificially serving the country, many of them without pay, to make sure that you and your families are safe. And we're done with it. This is not a political blame game. This is one party doing the job and getting the government funded, and another that's using people as pawns. We're not going to do that. Listen, we're going to send it over there, and you can see what they do. If this is not USEED and they don't do it, the president has shown leadership. He's going to fund TSA agents. We'll get that covered. But we have the rest of the country to take care of. We're not asking them to do anything heroic. These aren't partisan games. We're not adding bells and whistles to this. It is a clean continuation of funding to make sure that the most basic responsibility of government is fulfilled. And we'll see how that goes and see what they do.
Alrighty, so there you see the press trying to chase the leader down as he stops taking questions very quickly there from Capitol Hill. We jumped on the air a little early here because we wanted to bring you that press conference there. He didn't take many questions, but he did answer a few towards this government shutdown. I want to catch you up here because we did jump on the air kind of quick and jump straight to this press conference. But again, right now, if you've been following me on social media, I've been posting about this, but the House GOP is going against the Senate GOP and trying to put a bill forward. You heard their House Speaker Mike Johnson saying that they were going to put this in front of the Rules Committee, working on a bill right now in order to get it in front of the House floor. Now, the House GOP, other than Speaker Mike Johnson, at least according to what we're saying, is not liking this plan. They don't like the Senate GOP plan either. You heard their Speaker Johnson mentioning it, talking a little bit about what was in Section 4 of that bill. So House Speaker Mike Johnson, they're speaking on all of this. We also saw Hakeem Jeffries speak on some of this a few moments ago, laying out the Democrats' plan at this point in time. Now, to go back to, we're going to play a clip of that here coming up in just a minute, but to go back to the beginning of all of this, the reason that the partial government shutdown had began with the Department of Homeland Security was because Democrats wanted to change some things with how ICE, the Immigration Customs Enforcement, was being funded, even though ICE is funded until 2027 within the big beautiful bill as it is titled. So we're watching all of this. We're going to see how it plays out. We're going to stick with you until 2 p.m. here and bring you every aspect of this story. But I do want to play for you Hakeem Jeffries on some of this, if I can get you guys that clip in for, get you guys any type of clip in on this, and I will do my best to do so. Because I do know I did see Hakeem Jeffries speaking on some of this a few moments ago. So please, again, stand by with us. And I also know that I believe the House and Senate are both in session here. I know I kind of had to jump and get my equipment ready so we could jump on the air for an earlier edition of Brooklyn News Live. So please, again, try to be patient here because I'm trying to get you guys all of these feeds. But again, I do know... Give me one moment. So that the Senate will go into session again on April 13th, and then the House is in recess subject to the call of the chair. I want to pull up the House feed because I know, yeah, the House right now, they've been in recess subject to the call of the chair. One moment, this is our news gathering efforts here. Hakeem Jeffries on the floor. It's going to be about 13 minutes long from C-SPAN. This is coming in yesterday. This is Jeffries on this. This is yesterday, right as we were coming on the air. Please stand by with us. We'll get you guys that feed here. This is, again, yesterday on the House floor. Hakeem Jeffries on this funding. So again, as you heard Mike Johnson mention, the House has now passed funding multiple times, but now it's clearly not working. Clearly at this point in time, I mean, TSA agents are still going without pay. President Trump now coming out and saying, okay, we're going to sign an executive order to give them pay. That executive order at this point in time, according to my knowledge, and I can check in with the latest that I have, but that executive order has not been signed. So we're going to play Hakeem Jeffries' perspective on all of this, and then I will get you guys the latest update here on that executive order. So here is Hakeem Jeffries yesterday.
Prioritizes ICE brutality over the American people. We're now more than 40 days into a Trump Republican shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security. Why are we here? Republicans are trying to convince the American people that Democrats should be blamed. Wait a second. Last time I checked, Republicans control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And you spent the last 15 months trying to lecture the American people that you have some historic mandate. If, in fact, that is the case, when the government shuts down in its entirety or partially, it's because Republicans have decided to shut the government down. And in this particular instance, to prioritize ICE brutality over the American people. There's legislation that is available for Republicans to bring to the floor that would pass overwhelmingly to fund the entirety of the Department of Homeland Security, with the exception of ICE and the Trump extreme mass deportation machine, which has unleashed incredible, unspeakable brutality on the American people and on law-abiding immigrant families. Why have Republicans chosen to prioritize ICE brutality over the American people? When it's not that complicated, we should be paying TSA agents Instead, Donald Trump and Republicans have sent ICE agents to airports all across the country. Watch this. ICE agents who are sitting around, standing up, doing nothing to address the airport crisis right now. ICE agents, however, at these very airports, doing nothing, are being paid. At the same period of time, TSA agents who are doing the work have been forced by Republicans to work without pay for more than 40 days. Why? Because Republicans have decided that they don't want to get ICE under control, and instead are forcing TSA agents to work without pay, inconveniencing millions of Americans all across the country and causing chaos at airports throughout the land.
Alrighty, that is Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader who represents Democrats in the House of Representatives, on all of this. So again, you can see how heated he was, and this is how heated this entire debate has been. I want to kind of contradict something he said at the beginning of his statement. He said that, talking about this mandate that, that Republicans had, and that they control the Senate and the House. Well, I spoke about this in a video report. If you were, again, I've noted at the beginning of all this, if you follow my social media, you would know a little bit about all of this. But there is a filibuster rule in the Senate, meaning you have to get 60 votes to pass something. Republicans' majority is not 60 in the Senate. So that just kind of, I'm going to kind of correct that there to make sure you guys are getting the full and entire truth here. I want to note, so senators yesterday, Friday morning, agreed in a voice vote to approve legislation to fund all DHS through the end of the fiscal year, except for ICE and Border Patrol. Now, the measure would provide funding for an assortment of programs, including the Transportation Security Administration, TSA, the Coast Guard, and FEMA. Okay. So that is what the bill that Speaker Mike Johnson pointed was not true. He says House Republicans will not do that. They will not fund ICE and Border Patrol. So now they are going to try to put a new continuing resolution forward. He did not mention the timeline for this, but he did say that the House Rules Committee was working on to get this through to the floor, because before anything goes through the House, it has to go through the Rules Committee. So now we're going to watch how this plays out, and we will see how things go. In this article that I'm reading for you guys right now is coming from the Wall Street Journal, and it also says, it says that legislation quickly ran into objections in the House over the lack of immigration enforcement funding. As I just mentioned, Speaker Mike Johnson told GOP colleagues that the House wouldn't vote on the Senate bill and instead look past a measure that would fund all of DHS for 8 weeks and provide back pay for government workers. So this would fund the Department of Homeland Security until May 22nd. So that again is this breaking new development. We are just getting in. So it goes on to say such a move would leave Congress in a deadlock that could stretch into next month. Senators have already left town for a 2-week recess, and House lawmakers were set to join them. Any bill passed by one chamber would need to be passed by the other before heading to President Trump's desk. So it's going to be interesting to see here, because you mentioned it would be passed as early as Monday, and you also heard a reporter, and I'm going to play a clip back for you here in just a moment, but you heard a reporter quickly point out that whatever you do, you're still going to end up in a deadlock, and I actually want to play that piece for you. So here is that line of questioning moments ago on Capitol Hill here. Give me one moment. Let me get this set up here to play for you guys. But a reporter pushing back on that exact thing that I just said. The Senate is already adjourned until April 13th. This is moments ago on Capitol Hill. Take a look here.
The American people are just sick and tired of every one of you, both Republicans and Democrats, come to this podium and blame the other side. People have been standing in lines 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. there's TSA workers that are selling their plasma.
Yeah.
At what point is a leader on either side going to stand up and say, we have a path forward that everyone will agree to? This vote today will extend the shutdown under any circumstance.
No, it won't. No, it won't.
And it was
If
a
it,
unanimous vote by
thank you. Let me
Republicans
answer the
and
question. I'm glad you brought it up. The House Republicans have now voted that today will be the 4th time to fund the Homeland Security. This is not party blame game. This is a record. You can hold up the record. Look at the Democrats. They're voting over and over. Yesterday afternoon, we gave them a chance to fund Homeland Security. You know how many House Democrats voted yes? 4 of them. They want to use people as pawns. People are not pawns. These are workers who are sacrificially serving the country, many of them without pay, to make sure that you and your families are safe. And we're done with it. This is not a political blame game. This is one party doing the job and getting the government funded, and another that's using people as pawns. We're not going to do that. Listen, we're going to send it over there, and you can see what they do. If this is not USEED and they don't do it, the president has shown leadership. He's going to fund TSA agents. We'll get that covered. But we have the rest of the country to take care of. We're not asking them to do anything heroic. These aren't partisan games. We're not adding bells and whistles to this. It is a clean continuation of funding to make sure that the most basic responsibility of government is fulfilled.
Speaker Mike Johnson there. That was the end of the press conference. A question that was asked that became pretty heated there, you heard. Because, again, as we've pointed out in our previous editions of Brookland News Live, people are now waiting in hours-long lines to get through TSA, and we were actually showing you guys some video of that, and I can pull it up again for you, showing you guys some video of some of these lines that people are now experiencing. This was just a few days ago. I believe this is at the Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson airport there. So the lines that people are beginning to experience now as TSA workers are quitting, they're calling in. It was also noted out that people are now, these TSA agents are now donating their plasma, and he noted that President Trump, and I want to pull up a report on this, that President Trump's plan to fund the Department of, I should say TSA, excuse me, excuse me here. President Trump just posted on True Social, going to make a big speech on economics in Miami. Our military operation in Iran is going great. And then also, I believe, okay, this the one he says he's going to sign a executive order. Excuse me here. Yes, he says, okay, I'll actually read this out in full. He says, this is from President Trump on True Social. Excuse me here, I'm reading on my phone. Again, the news is all just coming in and I want to bring it all to you, okay? He says, quote, the radical left Democrats and their leader, crying Chuck Schumer, have made it very clear where they stand, and that is on the side of criminal illegal aliens and not the American people. They are refusing to fund immigration enforcement unless the Republicans agree to their open border policies, which will never, ever happen again. They almost destroyed our country, allowing 25 million people to enter from prisons, mental institutions, and insane asylums, those that are drug dealers and thousands of murderers, many of whom killed more than one person, because the Democrats have recklessly created a true national crisis. I'm using my authorities under the law to protect our great country, as I will always do. Therefore, I'm going to sign an order instructing the Secretary of Homeland Security, Mark Wayne Mullen, to immediately pay our TSA agents in order to address this emergency situation and to quickly stop the Democratic chaos at the airports. It's not an easy thing to do, but I am going to do it. I want to thank our hardworking TSA agents and also ICE for the incredible help they have given us at airports. I will not allow the radical left Democrats to hold our country hostage any longer. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So President Trump now saying he's going to sign this executive order. To my knowledge, and again, I can check one more time, I do not believe this executive order has been signed just yet. Okay, let me I'm loading an executive order, and right now, yes, it looks like it has been signed. It says paying our great Transportation Security Administration officers and employed. This is a presidential memorandum, so that the executive order has been put in, and it goes on to say This is an unprecedented emergency situation. Currently, more than 60,000 Transportation Security Administration, which is what TSA stands for, employees, including approximately 50,000 transportation security officers who perform security functions at domestic airports, are not being paid due to congressional Democrats' reckless decision to prioritize criminal illegal aliens over American citizens and shut down DHS. So that was the executive order we're now getting in from President Trump to, which is ordering the new Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen to now fund the TSA agents. I want to know, within this DHS shutdown, it is not only TSA that is not being paid. It is Coast Guard, it is FEMA, it is some more people within this department now not being paid. So TSA agents now, they're going to see some type of pay. But other than that, the question is here, what is next? Because these other people are still also not being paid. And that's why Senate Republicans and Democrats came up with this bill that appeared that they were going to put on the floor for a vote. But now you heard Speaker Mike Johnson say they will not in any way not fund the Department of or the ICE, the Immigration Customs Enforcement. I actually want to play that moment in this press conference as well. Please stand by one moment and I will get that to you. Let's go ahead. This is the beginning of the press conference just moments ago.
For waiting. It's been a long night, long day, but we just had a very fruitful, almost 2-hour conference call with all the House Republicans, and we have a united group. Let me just be completely unequivocal and put this out here in the open and in the beginning here to make clear the Republicans are not going to be any part of any effort to reopen our borders or to stop immigration enforcement. We are going to deport dangerous criminal illegal aliens because it is a basic function of the government. The Democrats fundamentally disagree. The Senate Democrats have hoisted upon this appropriations process their radical, crazy agenda. We call it crazy because that's what it is. They want to reopen the borders, and they want to stop the deportation of dangerous criminal illegal aliens. We have to do these basic functions of government. We have to fund them in order to do them. In the last several days, we have recent examples of dangerous criminals in this country killing innocent Americans. We had an 18-year-old college student in Chicago, a young lady who was shot in the back by a dangerous criminal who had been released in that sanctuary city and first released at the border under Joe Biden. They opened the border wide for 4 years. Just yesterday, or in the last 36 hours or so, an 83-year-old man's pushed onto the subway tracks and run over by a dangerous criminal illegal alien. This has to stop. The Republicans are not going to be a party to this. They have taken hostage the funding processes of government so that they can impose their radical agenda on the American people, and we can't have any part of it. This gambit that was done last night is a joke. I'm quite convinced that it can't be that every Senate Republican read the language of this bill, and I'm going to just read you one excerpt of it because it's pretty alarming, and it says everything that you need to know in Section 4. This is on page 2 of the bill. This is an actual copy of the bill. That excerpt. It says, quote, "The contents printed under the headings of this bill, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Border Security Operations, under the heading of U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and Protection, shall have no force or effect for purposes of this Act, and amounts specified in the final bill under the subheading Border Security Operations and under the heading U.S. Customs and Border Protection and under the headings of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in the Department of Homeland Security shall be zero." We're not doing that. And it is unconscionable to me that the Democrats would force some sort of negotiation at 3 o'clock in the morning and try to hoist this upon the American people and then
Speaker Mike Johnson there. That was again moments ago on Capitol Hill, and we're now getting new reporting coming in from us moments ago from the Hill saying Jeffries is now pressing Johnson to pass the Senate DHS bill, which you just heard there he's not doing. He pointed out in a specific section that it says basically that the ICE operations and Border Patrol, that can't be within this and that can't be happening. He pointed that out, and he says there will in no way will the House Republicans pass that? Now, this article from The Hill going on and saying, excuse me here, I'm going to have to look over here, but it says, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries threw his weight behind the Senate-passed bill to reopen the DHS, declaring it a victory for Democrats because it funds airport screeners, but not immigration enforcement operations. After huddling with other House Democrats in the Capitol basement, Jeffries urged Speaker Mike Johnson to bring the bill to the floor, quote, immediately. Now we see that is not going to happen, and when this comes for a vote, which we don't quite have a timeline on that, because again, as I noted earlier, he said that they would be working on this, and I can actually show you guys. I believe we can get a live shot of the House floor here. Oh, here is, okay, yes, I want to show you guys this video. Give me one moment, guys. Sorry, I'm just noticing new video. But right now, the House is subject to recess, or is in recess subject to the call of the chair, excuse me here. But we are now getting in, give me just one moment. We had just gotten in that video that I was mentioning earlier from Hakeem Jeffries. This was about, I don't know, just over an hour ago. I'm going to play it for y'all. This is just over an hour ago. One moment. Just an hour ago, this is Hakeem Jeffries reacting to all of this. Let's, let me pop. Oh, one moment, guys. Here is that video. This is, again, moments ago.
Been forced to work without pay for weeks.
Excuse me, okay.
Millions of Americans are being inconvenienced all across the country, and there's chaos at airports throughout the land. The only thing standing between ending this chaos or not are House Republicans. There's a bipartisan bill that emerged from the Senate with uniform support, and it should be brought to the floor immediately so we can pay TSA agents, so we can end the chaos at airports across the country and stop inconveniencing millions of Americans as we approach Holy Week, Passover, Palm Sunday, and Easter.
Are Democrats willing to support the rule? Are Democrats willing to support the rule?
Senate that had some of those DHS reforms. Would something have been better than nothing?
There's legislation in front of us right now to end the airport chaos, and House Republicans should stop blocking it.
Are Democrats willing to support?
Hold on.
Sorry, I'm talking about ICE reforms. There was a Republican offer.
We have made clear that ICE needs to be brought under control. And what we want to see is ICE conducting themselves like every other cop, police officer, and law enforcement agency in the country. Taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not brutalize or kill them, which is what has been happening in America.
But
and the
ICE is
American
already
people have
funded.
had enough.
Are Democrats willing to support the rule in order to get this moving today?
We're willing to, that did not come up in the caucus meeting, but we are willing to do whatever is necessary to pay TSA agents to end the chaos and to stop inconveniencing millions of Americans, which is what Donald Trump and extremists in the Republican Party have done for weeks for no reason.
Do you
consider this a win, even though Democrats didn't get the full reforms that they were seeking?
We're continuing to fight one battle after another. And what's in front of us right now is the reality that TSA agents have been forced to work without pay. Donald Trump has sent ICE agents to airports who are being paid to stand around and do nothing, while hardworking federal employees who are TSA agents have been forced to operate under extreme conditions. That needs to end, and it can end today with House Republicans bringing a bipartisan bill to the House floor. It should be done today.
Leader, what do you think needs to happen to McCormick? What needs to happen to Representative McCormick after the Ethics Committee's findings?
As I understand it, the Ethics Committee has one final step in their process, so I'm not going to get out ahead of the Ethics Committee process. That will be completed upon our return, and then I'll have more to say.
Were you
Was
and
this
leadership aligned on what passed out of the Senate early this morning?
House and Senate Democrats continue to be aligned. Listen, we want to make life more affordable for the American people. That's where the focus should be. Unfortunately, Donald Trump has decided to unleash this extremism on American people. Republicans are actively hurting everyday Americans, actively hurting them. The Trump tariffs have increased costs on everyday Americans by thousands of dollars per year. Republicans have refused to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. And so, as a result, more than 20 million Americans are experiencing dramatically increased health insurance premiums because of Republican cruelty. Donald Trump and Republicans have gotten us into a reckless war of choice in the Middle East. They're spending billions of dollars to drop bombs in Iran. They won't spend a dime to make life more affordable for the American people. House Democrats and Senate Democrats are completely aligned. We want to drive down the high cost of living, fix our broken healthcare system, clean up corruption, get ICE under control, pay TSA agents, end the chaos at airports, and stop this reckless war of choice in the Middle East.
Thank you.
Speaker Johnson.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so there you go. That was moments ago. Okay, right now we are also learning, again, we brought you this a few moments ago, President Trump signing that executive order to pay TSA agents. Okay, if you're just joining us, I kind of want to bring you guys into perspective on what we are following right now because it is a lot. So we jumped on the air early because we learned that Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and the House GOP, House Republicans, were going to try to put a bill forward that was separate than the bill that the Senate had just passed most recently. Okay, in that press conference, you saw there Mike Johnson, this new bill that the House is going to try to put forward together, it is going to have ICE and Border Patrol funding. That's why Democrats shut down DHS, because they wanted to work on funding the ICE and Border Patrol. They wanted some reforms there, so that's why they originally had began shutting it down. So that is started off with, TSA agents now not being paid and all of that. And now we're learning of President Trump moments ago signing executive order to pay TSA agents. That kind of brings you up to date on at least the developments that have come in today. So Democrats don't appear at any moment to be in favor of this bill. In the House. And according to what I've heard so far, dead on arrival is the message we are getting from Senate Democrats. So even if it passes the House, which I'm going to actually play a video for you guys of an explainer that I posted on my social media pages, just in case you guys missed that. But again, even if it passes the House and the Senate, you got to get 60 votes. Republicans don't have a 60 majority. They don't have 60 Republicans in the Senate. So I want to play now a video here for all of you. This is what I posted on my social media pages. One moment, guys, and I will show it to you. This is, again, from my social media here. Here we go. Some breaking news just in. We're learning that the House GOP can now put forward a bill to defund the Department of Homeland Security. Okay, well, it may pass the House because the Republicans have the majority there. It likely won't pass the Senate because in the Senate they have a rule called the filibuster, which, little sidebar here, Republicans, since the Trump 2.0 administration has taken over, they've tried to say, let's go ahead and get rid of it. That's something that Trump has also backed. Well, it's not gone yet, though. So the filibuster requires 60 votes. Republicans don't have a 60 majority, meaning they would have to get Democrats on their side, and that is why it is making it increasingly unlikely that this new plan from the House GOP is not going to make it forward. We'll track the latest and bring you it all right here. So there you go. That is why this is likely not going to make it forward, because they have a filibuster rule. And again, this new bill that the House is trying to push forward would fund the government until May 22nd. So a lot of new developments we're getting in. We are going to try here to sneak in a quick break. When we come back, we'll kind of update you on what else is going on today in the news world. We're back in just a few moments. Alrighty, we're only going to be here till 2 p.m. and I'm sorry for our viewers. You can, of course, always replay this Brookland News Live later, so I'm sorry if you're watching us live and you were hoping we would go from 2 to 3 as well, and we just kind of jumped on the air for a special edition. I apologize. Want to get to some other headlines that we're following right now. A federal commission consisting of solely Trump-appointed members voted to approve a 24-karat commemorative gold coin depicting the president in honor of the 250th anniversary of the United States. So that's one of the big headlines we're following. Also today, Trump said he would again extend the deadline for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz or face the destruction of its energy plans after Tehran had earlier rejected a 15-point proposal by the United States. So that is, again, some big news that we are continuing to follow. Okay, TSA now going to be paid here as President Trump moments ago signing an executive order on all of that. So that is some good news for them, as again, we talked about it throughout the first 30 minutes of our show here. Lines continuing to grow there at airports, and that's still a story that we are continuing to follow, is those lines continue to grow. I know at the Baltimore-Washington airport, lines were forever long. I saw a reporter from CNN, I believe, a video from them reporting on that. So some good news if you're a TSA agent. Again, moments ago, President Trump signing an executive order to now will now direct DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin to begin paying DHS, or again, paying TSA agents, excuse me. Another quick break, more news to come when we return here in just 30 seconds. Welcome back into Brookland News Live. Okay, some major news out of the House of Representatives as well. Not only about that Big story on TSA funding, but we're now learning Representative Sheila Trefulis McCormick, the Democrat from Florida, was found by the House Ethics Committee. You see the hearing from yesterday on Capitol Hill. That she has committed multiple ethics violations following a rare, lengthy public hearing. You see it there on your screen from yesterday. The committee determined there was, quote, clear and convicting evidence that she violated House rules, citing 25 proven counts from the statement of alleged violations. Now, investigators say she funneled $5 million in disaster relief funds distributed to her family's company, Trinity Healthcare Services, into her 2021 special election campaign. Now, so far, she's remained innocent. It remained her innocence, at least, saying she pleaded not guilty to federal charges. The bipartisan subcommittee spent 2 years reviewing over 33,000 documents and interviewing 28 witnesses. Now, her lawyer, William Barzee, who you see there, who you just saw there on your screen, who joined the case less than 3 weeks before the hearing, sought to delay proceedings and keep them private, arguing public actions could prejudice her criminal trial. Now, that panel ultimately, as you see here, denying that request. The committee will recommend a punishment coming up in April. That is going to do it for this edition of Brooklyn News Live. I want to thank all of you for joining us here. So lots of big news, from major news out of Capitol Hill, also from the White House today. Remember, you can join us. We're going to start doing only 30-minute shows on Fridays, but they're not going to be at 1:30. They're going to be still at 2. So that does it for us, though. Thank you all for joining us. Remember, you can join us weekdays at 2 p.m. every a weekday, where we catch you up on the latest headlines, what you need to know, kind of what's going on across the nation. That's our job here, because we want to make sure that you're getting caught up not only on the headlines happening across the nation, but also the headlines right here in Brooklyn. Today, of course, that being outweighed just by the number of things we had going on when we talk about things going on right here at the nation's capital. Excuse me there. I knew I was going to get it out eventually. So big news. We're going to keep following it. In the meantime, though, remember, you can join us weekdays 2 p.m. That does it for us. Have a great day, guys.